Monday Night Raw starts off with Braun Breaker. Starts off with Braun Breaker basically crashing out over the Royal Rumble, crashing out that the fact that he got eliminated early on due to someone interfering and due to the masked man attacking him. You get Adam Pearce comes out. He ends up mentioning that Braun Breaker had a disappointing appearance in the Royal Rumble and that it's not his fault. And he ends up mentioning that the last time that there was a masked man, that Austin Theory was the masked man. Then we end up getting LA Knight. He comes out, attacks the Vision. So, of course, they're continuing the storyline of LA Knight wanting revenge on the Vision, which makes perfect sense. And then throughout the show, they have Braun Breaker crashing out through the entire show, him being extremely frustrated over his disappointing appearance at the Royal Rumble. So we'll see what they do with Braun Breaker. I'm assuming this is going to lead to eventually Seth Rollins because that's the only thing that makes logical sense here. Who attacked him? Who knows? Now, I've seen the pictures of the potential masked man, and that's clearly not Seth Rollins. And I pray that they do a retcon where they just say it's Seth Rollins because it needs to just be Seth Rollins, bro. It needs to just be Seth Rollins because I swear to God, if this is someone else other than Seth Rollins that they're going to paint this out to be, I just don't care. And then LA Knight Division, I understand why they're doing it. It makes sense. I just don't care for it because no one benefits from this Vision. Like, no one does. The only person who has benefited from feuding with the Vision is literally CM Punk. And that's mainly because of his feud with Seth Rollins, not because of the entire Vision. So I don't really care. It makes sense though. Later in the show, LA Knight interferes in a Bronson Reed and Penta match, costs Bronson Reed the match. So they're continuing that storyline. We'll see how it unfolds. Do I really care? Not really, because I just don't like the booking of the Vision. I just feel like this is just ruining the momentum of everyone involved. Like, I feel like Bronson Reed lost all of his momentum ever since beating Roman. Austin Theory has no momentum at all. And then Braun Breaker, it's like, I don't understand what they're doing with him. It's like one moment they want to push him to the moon, the next moment they stop. It's very weird with Braun Breaker. So we'll see how this plays out, but I don't really have high hopes for this because, again, the booking is just too inconsistent with the Vision. So we'll see how it plays out, but I don't really have high hopes for this whole Vision storyline with Braun Breaker crashing out and LA Knight. I don't really have hopes for it, but we'll see how it unfolds. Afterwards, we do end up getting a segment with Gunther. Gunther comes out to AJ Styles' theme song, which I thought was great. I thought that was great. He ends up doing, the signature pose and all that he typically does. They even gave him pyro, which I thought was hilarious as well. Then he was finna cut a promo, gets interrupted by Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee attacks him, but then then Gunther gets the upper hand by using the ring bell to attack him, puts him in the sleeper, and that's really it. So this is fine for what it was. I'm assuming they're probably gonna have a match next week. This is probably just a little filler for you to build Gunther up a little bit due to due to Dragon Lee being, AJ Styles' tag team partner. So this is just a little filler for you just to give him something to do. Now what they do after Dragon Lee, that's going to be the interesting question because I honestly, again, I don't know what you do with Gunther after this because if he's not going for the world title, so if he ain't going for the world title, I don't know who's on that roster that's a big enough match for him at Mania. The only thing I can think of is Brock Lesnar. That's the only thing I can think of because if it ain't Brock Lesnar, I don't know who Gunther faces at Mania. So we'll see how this plays out. The match should be a banger because they're definitely going to have a match, I'm assuming. So the match should be an absolute banger. So we'll see how this unfolds, but I actually don't mind this, to be honest. We officially ended up getting the debut of Oba Femi on the main roster. It looks like he's going to be on Raw, but they also said that he's still technically a free agent, so he may appear on SmackDown as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with Oba. They end up giving him it wasn't even a match. It was technically supposed to be a tag team match, which I find very odd because who was Oba tag team partner going to be in this match? That's what I'm very curious about. But ended up being basically a 2-on-1 handicap match, but the bell never rang. Oba basically demolished the War Raiders, which I don't mind. I don't know if this really helps Oba, but it does make him look worse. So I personally don't mind it. I thought it made him look dominant. Now it is the War Raiders who were never on TV that often, but at the end of the day, him going over two big guys makes him look strong. It doesn't make him look weak. So hopefully they just have more plans for him moving forward and that they just don't repeat this cycle. They don't just have him keep defeating jobbers over and over again. Eventually, they're going to have to give him some more credible opponents. But this was a cool start for Oba Femi to start on the main roster. Now, I do want to discuss a quick segment with the Bella Twins. The Bella Twins are officially back. They basically ends up announcing that they want to go after the women's tag team titles, which makes perfect sense. I don't really have much to say here. The only thing I will say is that I kind of wish we had got a little bit more. This promo just felt very very forced, very off. But to be fair, is the Bella Twins. I know some of you guys are huge fans of them, but promo work has never been their strong suit. Let's just be honest here. I don't know why they decided to make this a. They should have just made all the women's tag teams come out in this segment to declare their opportunity for the women's tag team titles. I feel like that would have just been better instead of just having Debris and Nikki cut a very cookie cutter promo. Like, I don't understand why they did that. They should have had Bayley and Lyra come out. They should have had maybe Nia and Lash Legend could have came out as well. Rhea Ripley, I feel like they should have done that. They could have done Rhea Ripley, Io Sky. Could have had them come out, tease the potential Mania match. I feel like that would have been more entertaining than just having them cut a very cookie cutter, very awkward, weird promo between the two. Don't know why they did that. I'm not gonna say I'm excited for it, but I don't mind it. Because my main issue with the Bellas coming back was potentially them being in the main event scene. But to be fair, it's weird. They're kind of in the main event, but they're not, because they're not fighting for world championships no more, mainly with Nikki. But the women's tag division is damn near like the women's main event scene at this point. So it's like, but nonetheless, I think it's a good spot for them. It adds more depth to women's tag division. It gives them one of the actual real tag teams in the actual division. So interested to see where it plays out. I can actually see them actually getting a little run with the tag team titles too eventually. Don't know if they beat Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, but that is the biggest match they have at Mania for the women's tag team titles. So I actually don't mind it. So we'll see how this I'll make sure to see where this goes. Now we get the main thing I really want to talk about, which is this Judgment Day stuff. Okay, so we end up getting Raquel and Liv Morgan. Raquel as Liv Morgan. Why did she eliminate her at the Rumble? Liv Morgan didn't really answer the question. She just basically said that a win for the Judgment Day is a win for everybody in the Judgment Day. That's all she said, which didn't really explain it because she didn't have to eliminate Raquel at that spot. It was like 3 other people still in that match. It was between her, Tiffany Stratton, and Sol Ruca. Having Raquel there would have made it a lot easier, and you two could have been the final 2. But no, you decided to eliminate her earlier, which made no sense. But okay. And then Raquel just basically ends up saying that, look, I don't want you involved in my championship match, which of course we already know how that's going to lead. Liv Morgan interferes in the championship match, of course. Then the match ends up happening right after this segment, which was I just don't understand it. We end up having a match. The match was good. Stephanie Valkyrie ends up winning due to the fact that she was playing a leg injury, and then Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez interfered in this match. Why? What was the purpose of it? I don't understand. And then Liv Morgan attacks Stephanie after the match. I don't understand this. This is so stupid. This makes Raquel look so weak because, look, people are going to say that this is going to cause more dissension in Judgment Day. My question is, what more dissension or friction do you need? She literally eliminated her in the Rumble, laughing in her face. That's number 1. And then number 2, she interfered in this match, which I don't think was necessary because you already have Stephanie Valkyrie playing a leg injury. That's 1. Then you have a stipulation where she demolished Stephanie for majority of this match. And then even with Liv Morgan interfering, that's not why Raquel lost, because Roxanne Perez interfered to help Raquel, which actually gave Raquel an advantage, and she still lost. So even if we want to use the Liv Morgan excuse, that's not why she lost. She lost on her own. So I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't mind Raquel losing this match. I knew she was going to lose, even though I think it's better if she would have just won the match. But I knew she was losing. But if you was going to make her lose, why the fuck are we playing an injury angle? Why? You played an injury angle and she lost with help? Like, come on, bro. It's just, look, I like Stephanie, but why is she being booked that strong? Like, do one or the other. Either she has an injury angle or she's or she's going to win with the interference. Why both? Like, that was unnecessary. And then also, if you wanted to tell the story of Liv Morgan interfering, you should have made Liv Morgan interfering be the actual reason why she lost. Because again, Roxanne Perez interfered as well, but then Raquel ended up getting the advantage again, but then lost it. So you should have just made Liv Morgan be the only interference and not Roxanne as well. That would have worked a lot better in my opinion. But you added both of them, which makes Raquel look even worse than this. And then this whole Stephanie and Liv thing, I don't understand where they're going with this because it's clear that Liv Morgan is going to choose Stephanie, and then I'm assuming that Raquel is going to get jealous over that. Okay. My only issue with this is I already see the vision that they're going to hold this out until Mania because they're going to tell some dumbass reasoning that Raquel is going to wait until Mania to finally turn on Liv Morgan. They're definitely going to drag this out because that's Triple H's thing. He loves dragging out stories. So what I'm seeing here is that he's going to drag this out to Mania. They're going to have the match, the singles match, even though it really shouldn't be a singles match because the story with Liv Morgan is really with Raquel, but they're going to choose Stephanie for the world title, even though there's really no story there. So Stephanie Raquel is really a third wheel in a feud, which as your world champion. But okay. So they're gonna have the match, and then Raquel is probably gonna cost Liv Morgan the match at Mania, causing the feud between Liv Morgan and Raquel, which already should have been a feud, but they're gonna wait till Mania to do it. Then they're probably gonna feud all the way until December. That's what I'm saying, because that's typically what Triple H likes to do. So we'll see how this plays out, but after tonight's show, I'm not gonna say I don't have interest, but I have little faith in this because that's what I'm saying. They're gonna hold this out until Mania, until they finally do the turn, which is gonna turn Liv Morgan into a babyface. Even though logically speaking, she shouldn't be a babyface in this situation. For being honest, she really should. But but Liv Morgan's the more popular superstar, so they have to make her the face because it just makes so the fans will react to her. So I guess, but we'll see how this plays out, but the way they did this was just stupid in my opinion. It just didn't make sense. Then we finally get the main event. Roman Reigns and CM Punk. They cut an amazing promo. This was a great promo. They ended up having a good back and forth. CM Punk ended up mentioning the options he had for the world title. Ended up mentioning that Drew McIntyre is the easier option. Roman ends up mentioning how Drew is not the easier option. He mentions the last time that Drew and Punk faced off, they end up that Punk was complaining about a bracelet. Then Punk mentions the Hell in a Cell match that he beat Drew McIntyre in. Then they mention their history. Punk ended up mentioning Roman's historic reign as champion, but he ends up mentioning his own historic reign. Ends up saying that just because Roman did it longer doesn't mean he did it better, and that Roman basically copied his entire style of being, having Paul Heyman by his side, having a historic reign. Then Roman responds back, ends up saying that the only reason why Punk came back was due to him. He's the reason why WWE is in the position that he's at, and that he's the reason why Punk even has a place to even come back to. Punk ends up responding back to Roman, ends up mentioning how Roman's a part-timer, how he's more of a full-time guy. Ends up mentioning that Roman part-time, schedule, how he paved his way, so it's cool for him to be a part-timer. Then he ends up mentioning that he taught Roman a lot of things, and that's why Roman is in the position he is now. Roman responds back, ends up saying that the reason why Punk is even a full-time guy is due to him taking a 10-year vacation. And then he ends up saying that that he didn't learn anything from CM Punk. He learned what not to do to not make the same mistakes that CM Punk made. Then he ends up eventually declaring that he's going to face CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship, which I'm excited for. This was a banger promo. This was great. This is why I didn't mind Roman Reigns winning the Rumble, because when Roman Reigns is on TV, everything is special. Everything feels way more important, and he does good shit. And then people complain about his part-time schedule, which I do understand, but I don't complain about it as much as because Roman's part-time schedule is better than most wrestlers' full-time schedule. That's why I don't complain about it. Roman's part-time career is better than most wrestlers' full-time career. I don't think no Royal Rumble winner would have been able to do anything like this, bro. So that's why I don't mind it as much. This is going to be a banger feud. This is going to be a banger build to Mania, man. I can't wait to see what else they do. Overall show was fine. It was a solid show. It really got saved with the main event between Punk and Roman. It was a solid show, but you guys let me know your overall thoughts and opinions down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my content. But yeah, that's it.